Hail and well-met adventurers. I am the Dungeon Master, and this is going to be a brief video of me talking about the PlayStation 5 reveal conference that showcased 5 days ago now. I say brief because at the time the conference was going on, I was trying to record live commentary to go alongside it, and I ran into a few technical difficulties along the way, and so I thought I'd wait until the conference was done and then do my thoughts that way. And unfortunately, I ran into even more technical difficulties. So, what I thought I'd do afterwards, when that failed, was try and take a few screenshots and then put them into a collage and then give my overall impressions. And I did that, and unfortunately, Bandicam didn't record my audio commentary, so that was all for nothing. So, where to begin? Um, I guess the first and foremost, the amount of games that were actually showcased during the PS5 conference was actually pretty impressive. 26 games in total, with about probably three, maybe four of them, um, basically being upgraded re-releases from the previous console generations, I'm pretty sure. But there are a lot of new stuff coming straight to the PS5, which look fairly exciting. A couple of those titles include the new Ratchet and Clank uh, Rift Apart. I almost forgot the subtitle there, despite making sure not to forget it. But yeah, that looks quite impressive, especially during the live conference where they're actually showing a lot of gameplay. Um, and also the Spider-Man Miles Morales um, game looks pretty fantastic as well. I haven't played any of the latest Spider-Man games, but even I had to admit that trailer was, yeah, fairly top-notch. Also had the latest releases of franchises such as Gran Turismo with Gran Turismo 7 and the also revealed Hitman 3, the um, probably the final chapter in the series that began um, 4 years ago with Hitman 2016 that I know that a lot of people are looking forward to. We also got to see Resident Evil Village, which is essentially Resident Evil 8. Um, yeah, they called it Village because they're trying to go for the same kind of thematic approach that they did with Resident Evil 7 Biohazard with the Roman numerals. And Village is pretty much the only way that they could do that logically without, you know, giving anyone a brain aneurysm. Although if they ever decide to do Resident Evil 9, that is going to cause problems because they're not going to be able to find a subtitle to actually conveniently go with that theme that they've been going with. The highlight for me during the entire showcase of PS5 games has to go, of course, to Oddworld Soulstorm, which, yeah, was probably for me the most impressive showcase of the entire lot because yeah, for those of you who don't know, uh, Oddworld Soulstorm is a next generation remake of Abe's Exodus, although it's probably going to be a lot more than that given what was shown in the trailer. Um, Yeah, basically in the same vein as Oddworld's New and Tasty, as being a remake of the classic Abe's Odyssey. Although I have to be honest, the Soulstorm trailer and of course definitely had a lot more grit to it. And yeah, I was definitely excited about that. But all in all, to keep a long story short, I actually liked the lineup of the games. That is to say, I didn't think any of them were bad. There are some of them that I thought were okay-ish, but not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Although most of them, you know, having said that, are still games that I probably will never buy or play under any circumstances. Um, but I think Sony and PlayStation had a very solid showcase of titles um, in their presentation, as well as brief commentary from the obviously the people developing it, those games along the way in segments. Overall, the presentation was concise and smooth, and was also capped off with a very nostalgic look back at the lifetime of the PlayStation, dating back to the release of the classic Sony PlayStation back in 1994, which was uh, which was a nice little touch. But the piece de resistance, um, of course, the actual reveal of the console itself, which is obviously what you can see in front of you here in the video. There are two versions of the PlayStation 5. The one on the left is for people like myself, who still collect physical discs and physical media. Um, the one on the right is, of course, for those who are purely into downloading digital content and games that way. So they're trying to cater to both markets, it seems, and which isn't a bad thing actually, because even though downloading video games digitally can be um, very convenient for a lot of people, there are people with a bit of nostalgia and also who still like to preserve their physical media of video games that way, which is so it's interesting to see that they've gone for both different designs. Now, the overall design of the PS5 is quite a bit different from what was originally shown on the internet. That sort of blocky V-shaped console that people were wondering, why does this look like a giant modem device thing, especially in line with the PS4's design. Though apparently this final design is going to be the biggest of the PlayStation consoles by far. And as you can see, it has a stand which allows the console to be placed vertically, just like the PS4 did. Although I'm pretty sure you can have it sitting horizontally um, as normal as well. And they also interesting to see the dual sense controllers there, which are based on the classic PlayStation DualShock design with a lot more bells and whistles attached to it, which is interesting. Now, I know a lot of people have been sort of harping on about, when is Sony going to release the price? How much is it going to cost and anything? And yet, there hasn't really been that much pressure on Xbox to say how much their Series X is going to cost in the immediate future. A lot of people have been speculating, but I'm going to be of the mindset that when they release a price, they'll release a price, and then we'll see what happens from there. So I'm not overly, going to rack my brain over how much it's going to cost. It is what it is basically my end thoughts of that. Overall, yeah, a very solid presentation from Sony. Very awesome display of the legacy of the PlayStation franchise. And yeah, I'm looking forward to when this console finally releases, hopefully at the end of this year. So I said this video would be brief, and it's gone on for about 10 minutes now, but oh well. So yeah, those are my kind of summarized, albeit rushed, thoughts on the Sony PlayStation 5, and I think that's all I'm going to say on the matter. So, as always, adventurers, I am the Dungeon Master. Until next we meet.